All right, your team had the meeting, everybody nodded, and a week later, nothing happened. That's because agreement isn't a plan. Without who does what by when, all you had was a good conversation. And if you're already thinking, yeah, but you don't know my boss, my client, my kid, whoever, that feeling that your situation is the exception is exactly where we're headed today. Let's dig in.
Welcome back to the Sedaris Leadership Lounge Book Club, where we turn your books on the shelf into skills you can actually use. I'm your host today, Chris Duncan, and I'm joined by Shannon McCoy, who is going to be joining us by chat. Thank you, Shannon. Alan Edwards joining us live.
Woohoo!
And Jay Jacobson. Welcome, Jay.
Welcome. Up to this point.
Go ahead.
Up to this point, we have covered how to spot a conversation going sideways, how to make it safe again, and how to say the hard things without blowing it out of proportion. Today, in chapters 11 and 12 of Crucial Conversations, we will arrive where the book starts landing the plane. We take everything we've learned and turn it into decisions, actions, and learn how to handle tough cases nobody warned us about. So as we explore today's chapters, I want you to listen with one question in mind. What is the key insight I can apply today to create space and safely for both parties?
If any of this is new to you, every past episode is waiting for you at sedaris.com/book club. That's Sedaris, CDAERIS.com/book club. Before Jay gets us started, if you've got a question, a thought, or just want to say hey, go ahead and drop it in the chat. You'll be in there with Shannon having a good time while his internet comes and goes. While you're down there in the chat, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe so you don't miss next week. Jay, can you tell us from chapters 10 and 11, or 11 and 12 rather, how to move from an agreement to a plan?
Well, two things usually sink a conversation before we get to the finish line. First off, nobody agreed on how the decision was going to be made. And that's, if you learn nothing else from this week, that is a key element of how you enter into these kind of discussions to keep everybody safe. And then at the end of the conversation, nobody is left with a clear assignment. Is a decision going to be made by command, consultation, by voting, or consensus? And then who is going to be responsible to follow up? That's where these chapters are leading us this week.
Yeah, reading this chapter, I found it interesting that I had accidentally done one thing right. Yay. Because I have the same meetings, with leadership teams every time in a business, a for-profit business even, the decision-making tree was always the same, but I did have the foresight to always tell people ahead of time, hey, look, we're in this meeting, everybody gets to say, because the leader of the team, the CEO, the president, wants your input, but at the end of the day, they decide.
Yep.
And that's why he's hired you. That's why he pays your salary, because he wants your input. You're the expert in these fields. But at the end of the day, he has to decide, and we have to be good with that. And so I'm glad I always gave that input, but now I know that in a larger crucial conversation, there's multiple ways to decide.
Absolutely. And every type of decision and every structure lends itself to a different aspect of how that decision is made. And it goes from, very simple, the simple command of, okay, I'm making the decision and we're dealing with it, to we're going to stay at this until we arrive at consensus, and degrees of it in between. Now, consensus builds the buy-in from the people that are around you, which is wonderful because then everybody's on the same page. But simply by outlining the framework that we have of how we're going to make that decision helps keep everybody safe in the conversation and helps keep that buy-in later on. They don't feel like you called them in to get their opinion and you totally disregarded it. So that understanding is crucial.
Yeah, and of course, presentation to how you decide is everything as well. This also lends to the worst acronym in the book, I believe. They call the decision framework on how to decide the CCVC.
Yeah, and I missed that one.
Uh,
That's how effective that acronym was.
yeah, it's too much. But you described most of them already. You mentioned command, right? The owner's
Yes.
making the decision, which is also a way of saying, "Hey, this is what I want you guys to do," giving marching orders. I feel it's not super effective in teams, but it is absolutely fast in a way to get things done.
Yes.
Then we have the other C is consult, which is what I described in my example, where there's one leader who makes it, who's getting opinions from everybody else. Then you have the good old fashioned democratic vote for the V. And then finally, the consensus that you mentioned. So that acronym is CCVC. And welcome back, Shannon.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So glad your internet is working again.
Yes.
And for those who didn't get to see it, in the green room, suddenly we lost everybody's internet. It was quite a wide outage, and then we slowly all getting back together.
It's really something when you lose the Midwest, Canada, and the Pacific Northwest all at the same time.
I don't think we lost Canada. He was still here.
Canada was lost ages ago.
Yeah. Well, the fissure just hasn't launched you into the ocean yet until that big earthquake happens and we lose Canada. All right. Well, good. Glad to have you, Shannon. Shannon, can we catch you up, or are you up to speed on the CCVCVCCs?
Yeah, I think I know that one by heart. No, I'm just kidding. But I do have some notes on that.
What I thought was also interesting that I'm going to start using this more often is a little bit of help in deciding who has input, or how I would say it, who's in the room, who's in the meeting. I've definitely been in rooms where there wasn't enough people in the meeting for decisions to stick, and where there's too many people to even come to a decision. And the author asked a couple of good questions. Who should be there? Who cares? Not as a direct answer, but as a tool to get the direct answer. Involve people who actually have a stake, dog in the hunt. Who has the information you need, or who knows? Who has the expertise that we need? Who must agree? So decision makers have to be there. And then, of course, the how many, my favorite, which is boiling it down to what is the fewest possible people that covers the cares, knows, and agrees.
I think the author raised a really good comment that I circled in my book. He said people that don't care should not be part of the decision making. Yes. If they truly don't care, they don't need to be in the meeting, they don't need to have input, and they don't need to be part of the decision.
Go
ahead, Shannon.
One of the ways that, all four of us are here because we are trying to educate people on what this book was bringing out. The reason why I can remember some of these things, because I'm not good at the acronyms. It's like, okay, I don't know if that's ever going to happen where that just flows for me. But I think of different things that happened to me in my life, like real world issues, situations. And when I first started into personal development, HR work, just prior to that was because I stepped into meetings for the CEO of a company. And because they were driving me crazy, we had so many meetings all the time. And I was like, I'm okay with this as long as they're efficient, effective, and everything. And so what this publication is helping us to see is that, yes, for that to happen, you do need to know where the final decision goes, because one of the things that was driving me nuts, I didn't even realize it, is we kept circling around to the same issues, but there was nobody's name attached to them. And the other thing is that we would assume when the boss steps up and says something, that's the end of that. And he's thinking, you're not giving us any feedback every time I bring this up. And we're thinking, yeah, because you're the decision maker. He's not. And then when I get to talk to him in one-to-one, no, he's wanting feedback. He's wanting consensus. We're thinking he's making an autocratic decision. And what a confusion and time waster that was.
Yeah, so this adds to earlier chapters, right, where we creating safety in the room, but also when you talk about being intentional about who's in the room, explaining how you're going to decide also helps you. Like, it's not a command, right? It's supposed to actually be, I'm trying to use the right words, consult instead. That gives you more power. It adds more safety to the room. I actually had a question for you guys. On the who's in the room, who cares? Who cares about this? Many times when I'm consulting with small businesses everybody cares, but I do not believe that everybody should be in the room, at least not during the initial decisions. As many times we'll have a small leadership team, we'll come to a conclusion, and then we'll present it tentatively to the rest of the parties who cares to get that final input before finalizing it. What do you guys suggest?
Mm-hmm.
I think if you have more than 5 people in a room making key decisions, you probably have too many to start with. And I'm on the same page as you are. You know, you get those 5 people fully committed to a solution, and then you start broadening it out. Now, you may end up tweaking that solution as you get more and more information added to the pool of shared meaning, but it builds out. It's like ripples in a pond. You start at the core, and then you start working your way out.
So, so the Amazon pizza theory, maybe it's not a theory. They had a rule that if you couldn't feed them with a box of pizza, you had too many people.
Yeah.
True.
Well, I think of that. I think of this could be different depending on the situation. Who's showing up and what the purpose is. If you're talking with engineers that all have a piece, a part in the decision making because it impacts them and their line. Like say if it's a manufacturing plant and they all have their hands in production somehow. Sometimes it's great to hear, at least get some consensus from them. However, and that's a scenario where they have insight, they have background information, knowledge. Not all cases, like you said in these rooms, Alan, where they want to bring more people in. Not everybody has a whole background on what's the reason why, what's the purpose, what's the desired outcome. So their input does not necessarily add to the pool of true knowledge, right? Because now they're just guessing and assuming.
Yeah. So we now have this meeting, right? That has the decision architecture in place. It has the right people in the room. How do we get stuff done?
I've got a note written on that. It says a decision without an assignment is just a nice idea. Every commitment needs to answer 4 questions. Who's responsible? What specifically will they do? By when? How and when will you follow up? And that changes that dialogue into an action plan. And if you lose that crucial last step, it's still just a good idea.
Yeah. This is one thing I pound into sales reps, inside, outside, and account managers, is that they go out on a call. Somebody needs a quote. Somebody wants some service. It doesn't matter what it is, and they gather a bunch of information. They have good conversations, and then they get back in their car and they go back to work, leaving with what is no follow up, no agreement for a meeting, no nothing. I gathered my information. Look at me. I did a good job. I'm coming back and I'm going to stick it in the CRM system because that's what I'm supposed to do based on the policy. And meanwhile, they didn't set a follow-up appointment. There's no tasks for anybody to do, and it's just left. And then more phone calls have to happen to set up the appointment. It's like, while you're there, make the appointment, set up a follow-up date, commit to what you're going to deliver. It's going back to that, who's going to do what by when.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but Chris, I don't have time for all of that.
I know. Yeah. I just want to put it in the CRM like I'm told to do.
You don't have time for results either, then, do you?
Yep.
You missed my segue, Chris. I'm trying to help you out here.
I know. Yeah. I heard you. Yeah.
I think it's interesting because if the culture of a company is set on a precedent where the leader, the CEO, or comes into a meeting and whatever they say is what goes, or whatever, after their input, people are quiet. There's a situation that I remember. It was so, as far as the culture being that way so deeply, that like I would encourage the CEO at certain times to step out and come back in, or to not even give any feedback until the very end. And it worked beautifully because, once again, this is what this is about, is like really getting the information so that people are comfortable, whatever you have to do to get everybody comfortable enough to speak honestly and openly about what they like, don't like, the direction we're going, all that.
I have one service manager who has a sticky note that I made him write, and it says, "Do not respond first and I had to add yesterday, including in Teams, because I would ask a question trying to get everybody's feedback, and then
Yes.
you'd be on it and then no feedback.
Yeah.
One of the things that I coach with is that, if you do have an owner or a leader that has a direction they're going, to phrase it that I'm leaning this way, but I can see there are some issues with direction. I'd like to have your input. So it already challenges his own assumption. And that should open the door, or it's an invitation for them to be critical of the plan he's laying out, or she.
Yeah. So I really enjoyed chapters 1 through 11 of this book. Chapter 12 was the magic chapter. I'd like to hear you guys stories about chapter 12. Chapter 12, for those who haven't read the book, is full of the uncomfortable examples, the conversations with children, the conversations with exes, the conversations with employees that are wicked, crucial, and wicked uncomfortable. And I know between the three of you, you must have some stories that you can censor down enough to share.
I particularly appreciated the stories about dealing with employees with hygiene problems, because I had to deal with this. And it was probably one of the most difficult, uncomfortable conversations I've had in my life. And this employee was 80 years old, and he did not believe in deodorant. His whole life, he had never believed in deodorant. And so having to sit him down and talk to him about how that decision he was making was affecting his coworkers, was affecting our clients, and ultimately affecting his ability to be social with anybody, was extremely challenging. We managed our way through it, but it was very awkward and very uncomfortable.
That is so funny and unfunny that you mentioned this, because the one example I thought of today that I was going to bring forward was exactly that thing, that I had to fire somebody for BO. And the lead up to that, anyway, just for survey's sake, Alan, was that your example too? Did you have a BO example?
It is not. All of my examples, well, like yours, ended in failure.
Okay, Shannon, did you have a BO example?
If I use my kid, yeah.
You're gonna drag family into this, yeah.
That's right. Hey, I'm straight up with her. I tell her, everything.
Do shoes and socks count?
That could be a long story, but she can watch this and she'll laugh because of things I tell her sometimes. Like I tell her, you need to go take a shower. Well, how do you know? I'm like, because I can't see my computer right now. I'm working and my eyes are burning.
My eyes are bleeding.
Yeah.
I think
I've got a grandson that's just hitting that age, and I'm with you there. It's like, okay, dude, you need to go to take a shower. Yeah. Well, I had a shower this morning. No.
So Chris, to put you on the spot, now that you've read Crucial Conversations, do you think you could have had a different outcome in that case?
Well, in this particular instance, no. This person had been, and mind you, this was in the 90s. So we had a whole different Me Too personal boundary, probably no rules about HR involvement. So this person had been warned and said, you've got to, this was a dispatch center that had a very small, we had 4 people within 5 feet of each other in a small room. And this one person could evacuate the room. And we talked to him and we talked to him and we talked to him. And it just came to the point where, like, if you can't do this, we can't have you here because you're disrupting the work. So I don't know. My memory on this is far enough away that I only really remember the highlights. But I do know that we tried really hard to get this person to change their personal behavior. But honestly, it's like Jay was saying, at some point, this is old dog, new tricks. If somebody's not going to do something basic like take a shower or wear deodorant when people are asking them to, that's really a big ask.
I think I brought this up as a pattern. Pattern. I think I brought this up in the same chapter actually about timeliness, because I've often heard like, oh, he's the top engineer at an MSP. If he's 15 minutes late, that's fine because we can't live without him anyways. And sometimes we work late. And then I had the same engineer, work late, not show up in the morning unannounced, and no notes in the ticketing system.
Yeah.
Customer calls in because a lot of stuff happened last night. Hey, what's going on? I can't do this. Like, I don't know. So it did impact us.
Yeah.
And I think of all the tools that we've been given, one, I like the CPR you just brought up, Jay. Like, we're not talking about you being late. We're talking about the pattern of you being late. And it might even escalate into the relationship. I have difficulty assigning you work because I don't know if you're going to be here in the morning on time. It's affecting our relationship and our professional trust. Also, I like the STATE acronym that we learned a while back. Share the facts, only the facts. Tell your story. Like, I connect the dots like this. Now you tell me your story. And then propose tentatively what you're seeing in possible solutions to start that dialogue. And I wonder if I could have been more effective with those tools in retrospect.
Well,
and that's really the heart of what this book is about, is learning new ways of having those conversations.
Yeah, but we can't live without them.
You can.
Horribly, but
again, that same when that person finally left, everybody came to me and said thank you, and I will do some overtime for you to make up the difference. Which 2 weeks later we didn't require any.
Good news is, the industry you're in and the people you help with, this won't be the last time you address that problem. So you can practice a different time. You've got plenty more opportunity for this because it's a virus out there.
Yeah.
And this chapter 12, it's but right. So that's the title, and that might be our excuse. Like as a parent, as a father, I could say, but you don't know my daughter; she doesn't listen. And that's the same thing that happens. Where we can give that villain story the book talks about to somebody because we say, but they don't listen. Every single time in the meeting, we start saying these things that creates a story that really just kind of puts them exactly where we want to put them, right? That they're impossible. And so but we have to be open and honest with ourselves and try to, okay, what if I didn't say but and just applied this?
Shannon, what you said had me recall another story where I had to have some similar conversation. My wife and I mentored a group of sixth grade boys, and we had 9 of them, and they were they were special kids in the fact they had behavior disorders and were just kind of out there. And so we were struggling to try and figure out, how do we get across to these kids what their impact is on the greater organization. And the room we were meeting in had a glass side, and out to the glass side was the parking lot for the building we were meeting in. And I made arrangements with one of the other leaders to say, okay, have your kids come in and use our room, and I'm going to take ours outside. And I said, while you're here, just tear this room apart. Took the boys outside. They could see through the glass, and they could see visually what it looked like to the people in the parking lot. And the behavior stopped. But sometimes it's that visual image that they have to have as to how is this really affecting somebody else. Yeah. And if we can paint that picture, and however we have to do that, that's one of the best ways of dealing with these kind of issues.
I think the conclusion for this chapter, which is my conclusion every time I write an SAP, this same thing, by the way, is hard cases don't need new tools. Right? You just got to apply the same tools with more care.
No matter how bad you want to change it up, right?
Yeah, or make excuses or tell stories, right?
Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
Yeah. I'm stalling for time because we do have somebody on chat, S. McCoy 1860, who wants to give us an example of a crucial conversation they've had. So, but in the meantime, Shannon, do you have a wicked crucial conversation you've had recently that comes to mind and could be handled differently, or you handled well, or is just interesting and you want to share it?
I think as of recently, there's nothing like I put in the wicked crucial category. but I think just amongst my peers, you, Chris, Alan, just being more open, honest, trying to get present instead of walking away and thinking, wondering things. I'm trying to get present in the moment, which this book really helps me with. And I'd say that they're crucial conversations in the sense that I'm asking I'm actually asking for your stories so that I could see where my story is different. So I'm getting there. But this is just what I see myself applying more so since we've gotten to this book.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I think a lot of that also, thinking about some of those conversations is bringing it all to the table. And I'm sure there's an acronym for it, but making sure everybody, making sure the pool of shared knowledge is there and that everybody's talking about the same topic and the lexicon is the same and that we understand where everybody else is coming from.
That's BAT, bring all to table.
Yeah, yeah. Which is what the internet is doing now in the Midwest. It's gone bat. Yeah, I'm telling you,
You
something's
guys in
up.
the States are having it rough right now.
Aliens are going to land this weekend, and we're going to know what's happening. It's all about the internet.
All right.
Yep, encounter. Okay, Alan, do you have any last-minute crucial conversations you want to share?
Honestly, I don't know if I'm special, but I feel like I have crucial conversations multiple times a day.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just because I happen to be involved in 4 businesses right now with partners and all that stuff, but it's every day this is happening, which has been great practice.
Yeah. So are they, I bring this up as a completely different topic, but we all know people that attract drama. They just can't leave drama. Are you bringing this upon yourself, or is this, you feel like there's just conversations that you're interjecting yourself into? How are you having so many crucial conversations?
I think, I run an events venue and it's barely profitable and the cash flow is always in checks. I don't know if I'm bringing it on myself besides not pouring more money into it. So now we have to make hard decisions, right? Who do we pay this week? And these types of things require care. And I have to remind people like, hey, I see the facts that you're seeing in the story that you're drawing with. This is what's actually going on. I have those every week. And then, Sedaris is relatively new as a together agency, and we're setting our future, making those critical decisions right now. So in this case, I'll ask my therapist just in case, but
right.
I don't think it's me being drama a magnet.
What I hear you saying, Alan, is that that you're not causing this drama, but you're open to the belief that you might be causing the drama.
Oh, I mean, I'm definitely involved.
Okay, so definitely in there. Yeah. All right, Jay. Any last minute crucial conversations we can bring to the group?
At this point, I am still waiting for my system to completely reboot. So
We're hearing you.
You talk about crucial conversations and the frequency of having them, and pretty much my whole career has been focused around daily crucial conversations. When my background's in funeral service, and when you sit with a group of grieving people, every single one of those conversations is highly charged with emotion and very important, and thereby fit the definition of a crucial conversation. So all of those experiences tend to lead you to understand a little bit better about how to handle a lot of these crucial conversations.
Yeah, I can only imagine you could probably have written this book about how to handle all these topics and conversations with family.
No, I read the book to help me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, let's see. Next meeting of the Leadership Lounge Book Club, we are closing out the book. We're chapter 13 is the last chapter, and it pulls every tool from the last 12 chapters into one model that you can actually use before, during, and after your hard conversations. Excuse me. So the question becomes, for those listening, of everything we've covered, what will you actually carry into your next crucial conversation? This is something I want everyone to be thinking of as they go about their week this week. What can you carry into your conversations that will help you make it better and navigate the crucial conversations? Please like and subscribe so you can get notified the moment we go live next week. I'd like to thank our hosts, Alan Edwards and Shannon from Sedaris Agency. Thank you, guys. And thank you, Jay, from J. Jacobson Professional Staffing. I'm Chris Duncan, and we will see you next week. Same time, same place, Thursday at noon Pacific. Bring the book and bring your thoughts.